Andrea. So let's have a look at the next, almost the last essays. This is the double graph with a double visual graph, line graph plus pie chart. So let's have a look what's happening here. So the line chart illustrates the trend of the income in US billion, you don't need to capitalize billion, of the member countries of the special trade zone. You have of here, perhaps in would be a better idea. Between 1990 and 2000, while the pie chart demonstrates the global market share exports, let's say demonstrates, you demonstrate something with using arguments, right? I would simply say depicts global market share exports in 9 countries over the 2000. Is it over? No, it's not over. We say over when we can see the progression. For example, you can say over 1 decade here. But if you have 1 year, you should say in 2000. Overall, there was a significantly is an adverb, significant is an adjective for a best noun. Increase in the total income over those 10 years. You can say over which those. You say those, but you don't refer to the decade in the previous sentence at the end, but somewhere in the middle, so there's a difference. So you can simply say over 10 years. And furthermore, in 2000, Benzland represented the undisputed leader for the global export. I wouldn't add this sentence by using and furthermore. You could put a full stop here and say the most relevant observation here is that in 2000, Benzland represented the undisputed leader for the global export among all the rest of the countries. It is clear from the first graph that the total income grew steadily for the first 7 years. Then it reached, okay, so we have a comma splice error. So that's the case when we need a semicolon or a full stop instead of a comma. Then it reached and maintained a plateau. Yeah, okay, I wouldn't use the word maintain. Somehow it looks awkward to me, maintained a plateau. Initially in 1990, the average amount of money accounted for approximately this much $1 billion, a comma, not a dot. After that, I got it. So if you want to get rid of this semicolon because you have this semicolon, you can say while later on it reached and maintained a plateau. Oh no, the semicolon was in a previous sentence. Okay, so but this sentence is anyway kind of big. But anyway, you either do this or what you saw a minute ago. Both of these are completely fine. After that, it witnessed. You don't need the comma. It witnessed a 0.5-fold increase. I won't use the fold with 0.5. And finally, figures remained flat at above this much $1 billion. There's a lack of parallelism. You say it witnessed, and then you say figures remained flat. Perhaps you should stick to this subject and say after that it witnessed this increase, and finally remained flat above the sum. So that's fine. Regarding the pie chart, Benzland made up the largest contribution. Try not to use parentheses because this is not quite appropriate for this case, which was approximately 20%. You can do it by means of dashes, and it works almost like the parentheses. Of the global market share export. Conversely, Joland and Petersland were responsible for the smallest fraction. I wouldn't say we're responsible. You're responsible, you have a responsibility. You could say that these two countries represented the smallest fraction of the whole distribution. I like the word distribution. Probably noticed that. With values of 3/4 of the total. Okay, the remaining states represented, and you have represented here, maybe we could embody it a bit more signified. No. Then here, what I could suggest, because you have represented there, Joe's land and Peter's land um, uh, had the smallest fraction of the entire distribution of income with values of and then represented of the whole export. Very, very good. To conclude, the total income of the special trade zone members rose dramatically in 10 years. However, the contribution to the export markets given by single states varied significantly. I wouldn't say given. The contribution again presented, or the contribution provided, shown by the single states varied significantly. Anyway, this is a very, very good answer to such a complicated combination of visuals. A double visual is always very difficult, but you did a very good job. Mind the minor grammatical things, and this will be great. Now let's have a look at the essay. Currently, some individuals affirm that courses in mastering technological skills must be included mandatorily in their education programs, whereas many others consider this as a questionable choice, as children can acquire the same abilities from being daily exposed, I would say being exposed daily to various technological devices. Okay, beg your pardon. As far as I'm concerned, both alternatives are equally significant for children. Okay. The following essay will provide arguments to support this viewpoint. Absolutely great. One thing which is kind of unusual is courses in mastering technological skills. Perhaps you could say that in a simpler way. Perhaps courses in, I don't know, computer use, because mastering technological skills sounds overly sophisticated, unnecessarily sophisticated. Okay, body paragraphs. On one hand, the cognitive development of infants is a complex interplay of multiple factors where high specific skills can be automatically assimilated from the direct experience of the world. I wouldn't say of the world, from a direct interaction with the world, without teaching courses, or without any teaching, I would even say. Because you use the word courses, but here say infants. Be very careful. An infant is a child up to 1 year. Do you mean infants here? If yes, wave. Due to being continuously exposed to high-tech tools like IT or smartphones, this is a, let's say, is a conceptual era. IT is information technology. Technically, a smartphone is also a technology. It's a gadget. So IT is the vast field of everything, hardware and software, referring to computers, smartphones, and you name it. So you could say the high-tech tools like the computer, like laptops or smartphones. Toddlers, a toddler is a child who is 2 to 4 years old, or 2 to 3, like 1 to 3. I mean, one is already becomes a toddler. They will easily learn how to boot up a laptop, log in. You don't need the hyphen. You use the hyphen when you use the word login as a noun, and click upon icons to access their favorite application. Okay. If you want to keep it more academic, I would skip the up, or you can simply say start. So boot is more specific. So this could be made an exception in the case of computer use. For example, robust evidence showed that, why showed when we can say shows, that ever since technological tools, plural, when you generalize, you'd better use the plural, have become more widespread. The average age of children who use IT effectively has been decreasing. Okay. Yes, and shows would be much better because it adds more immediacy. Therefore, it seems that there is a linear correlation about the increased daily use of technology and the innate tendency to handle these innovations. Okay, so if you progress here from infants to toddlers, then yes, perhaps this is absolutely fine because you are trying to underline how children can learn from any kind of exposure. Oh, trust me, they can. I have an 8-month-old daughter, and she understands that she can move things on a screen with a finger, right? Okay. On the other hand, it is unquestionable that the computer literates are employed more straightforwardly. I wouldn't say straightforwardly, I would say quicker or faster or easier, since computer knowledge has become a constant requirement in every job interview. I wouldn't say in the interview, I would say in every job posting. Nevertheless, since technology is dramatically expensive, numerous individuals could be hindered from interfacing with this advanced equipment and, okay, we need a couple of adjustments here, and consequently, from obtaining high job positions during their career. Okay, my first question is, why is technology dramatically expensive? I wouldn't say it's dramatically expensive. One can afford a phone or a laptop at a reasonable price if you don't buy the latest model. Uh, so that's a factual thing, but let it be. Numerous individuals could be hindered from interfacing with this advanced equipment. I understand what you mean, but this sounds terribly awkward. Perhaps you mean numerous individuals could be prevented from interacting with, let's say, I wouldn't say advanced equipment, with these gadgets. That's why we're advanced gadgets, but not equipment. And consequently from obtaining high job positions during their career. And this is again another factual thing. Do you think many people are prevented from interacting with computers, and that's the only thing that prevents them from getting high job positions? I don't know. I would doubt this. Thus, due to its intrinsic purpose of fighting social and cultural discrimination, school must include courses I wouldn't use courses about computer functioning or operation. If you say computer functioning in student curriculum, you refer to the computer working, namely in the curriculum. So perhaps you should say the school must include courses in their curriculum about computer operation, as well as it should provide physically, provide physically the technological tools to the students. What do you mean? The computers themselves? Perhaps you could try and simplify this, because your style is so wordy that it looks quite weird this time. By doing that, formative institutions guarantee that every individual is offered the same opportunities. I would say can guarantee. Formative institutions instead of schools, okay, nice, but again, a bit unusual. To conclude, the human brain acts as a sponge, absorbing everything directly from the real world. And in this scenario, the incessant interaction with the state-of-art technology, I don't think the state-of-art is relevant here. I would simply say technology renders children computer literate since the earliest age. Yet school must furnish here is good. Courses on technology for those adolescents who cannot possess high-tech devices and who can be, let's say, professionally, let's say, not penalized. I don't really like the word penalized. Penalized means disciplined. Or like having I understand what you mean, but I don't think we can use it here, no. So who cannot own, not possess, who are unable or who cannot afford, yes, who cannot afford the latest high-tech devices, because trust me, you can afford at least something, and who can be put to disadvantage or who can be disadvantaged further on in their professional life by this. So you have great ideas. As usual, you have great complexity, but mind the corrections that I have made. Try not to formulate sentences that will be too sophisticated, and mind the minor grammar, and you'll get better and better.